Hi, I'm Marcia Michael. I am a multidisciplinary artist. I'm based in London, and that's me. You're here in my home, it's an intimate space, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that all my work is based around intimacy. It's sharing this intimacy, and that's why I was happy enough to welcome you into my space to explore the intimacy. We all have a natural space in which we like to be in, yeah? That is our intimate space. But there are moments when we need to share that intimate space and let other people in, and also to see who else shares the same sense of likenesses that we have within our home and within our bodies. So that's the main reason why I focus on intimacy within my work, hence family. Yeah, we're all born into a family, and it's such a unique experience for some of us that it's about exploring how we navigate those really precious moments, and if we are able to share them, why not? I had no idea that I was going to be using moving imagery within my work. It was always going to be still, but suddenly the need to record and remember more than just an image is what the video provides me, basically. So in order to transcribe, transmute, transform, I have to be able to access those different mediums. Matrilineage is the body of my mother. So matrilineage is a weird concept because it has multiple meanings for different people. For me, matrilineage is about accessing my mother's body, yeah, to recover the narratives of my ancestral heritage. My mother's from Jamaica, that's all that I know. However, within her there was an Africanness that she used to expose in her dress, in her singing, and even though she had no contact with Africa, there is within her that notion that somewhere her heritage is African, despite the fact that she's black. Yeah, it was within her. Well, the way in which I challenge the black figure in photography is partly because I make it present. It's that simple. It's simply by being present and by exposing, showing, detailing, communicating what we are, who I am, who she is, who they are, like everybody else. It's just another way of seeing a person, and it's somewhat embarrassing that it hasn't been seen before, though it's seen within the intimate space within our own family network. So it's partly about exposing and exploring those aspects of intimacy and making that individuality collective, which we know it is anyways. Going back to matrilineage, the body is the archive. In the body's memory, so the oral memory, the physical memory, all of that contains my history, our history, your history. So the fact that we have to look at the body and listen to the memories means there is a way in which we can access our history without having to rely on the colonial archive, the books that they wrote, the stories that they misplaced. Yeah, we can rely on our own archival body, and I'm suggesting quite strongly that our bodies are that archive. A poet, Arcalia Oliver, talks about flesh a lot as well, the flesh of the body, the flesh of the mind, the flesh of the soul. And then there's Fred Morton and Steve Harvey talk about hapticality, and it's like a forward slash Tina Campt also about hapticality, and it's about, I think what strikes me the most is about the flesh, the body's flesh to flesh, in the hold of the slave ship, and that touch, and that being for some of them the only touch that they had of their history, of their heritage, and how does that touch resonate with the way in which we try to anchor back to a heritage now. There is something in the flesh. There are marks within my photographs on the flesh, and I suppose in some ways they are symbols. They're symbols of people trying to acknowledge where they were, where they've been, where they've come from, where they're going. And it's about accessing those different stories through those marks. And people always ask me, why is there a lot of nudity within my work? And it's because the flesh is the object and the abject that connects everything together. One of the things I try to translate through the lens in ungendering the black body is by being as honest as I can with what the black body is saying. And it's by being as honest by being naked. And I think in that way, the communication between the bodies that are viewing and the bodies that are taking part are so open, yeah, that it kind of, I'm hoping that it goes back to that base message of communicating without the kind of hierarchies, because at the end of the day, it's flesh to flesh. I cannot explain why the camera. There is that notion of wanting to hold it, encourage it, nurture it, but also to pass it on. So sometimes it's almost like that freedom, Sojourner Truth, making her carte de visite, her image, and then finding ways to pass it on. And look where it's reached. Us now. It's still here, and it will still continue on. And I think that's what I find so powerful about making these images of the black body, whether it's male, female, ungendered, gendered, whatever you want to describe the body as. At the end of the day, it's a body, and it has a story that wants to be expressed and told. And I believe very strongly that photography is one of the ways in which we can keep that story going. Let us acknowledge ourselves and be proud of who we are, and show, so it can be remembered and not just be a memory.